What is going on, guys? Noah here with Custom RC Mods. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the workshop. Today we have the May edition of the fleet update. It's a video I do every single month, kind of just highlighting the status of each one of my airplanes, because of course it's hard to make even content about each one. So if you've been following one or you want to see one that hasn't been featured on my channel that much recently, this is a great video for you to kind of check in with it. And again, ask any questions you have down in the comments below. And if you want to skip to a certain airplane, all the timestamps for each plane will be listed down in the description as well. So let's go ahead and start off with the FT Simple Sora, and we're going to move across to the right. So yeah, FT Simple Sora has not been flown since the last update. I only went ahead and bound it to my new DX6. So that's the only reason it's been down off its little hookup there. So yeah, not much to say about that. But we're moving on to the Explorer now. I've been tuning my flap system. I think that's one real key component, especially on this heavier airframe with the 2200 milliamp hour battery and the higher power motor, is the importance of flaps. This is the really only plane that I've ever flown that really actually needs the flaps that it has on it. And so tuning that in and learning to fly with that is a lot better. I also went ahead and tuned some voice alerts in my DX6 for those flaps, and it is flying excellent. I also went ahead and switched out the satellite receiver for a different Lemon RX one, just for some added security, because the one I was having some slight issues with it. But other than that, I think that this thing can handle some bigger batteries. It's such a high lift setup with the wide wings, and it has a pretty big motor on there for the plane. So we might go up to like a 3,000 or maybe even all the way up to like a 4,000 milliamp hour 3-cell battery and see where that gets us on there. So yeah, really happy with that. Let's go ahead and move over to the stack of planes right here. This is going to be rapid fire, but I've got the Vector right here, as you probably have seen in the past videos. I haven't really featured it that much, but I have been flying it. I hope to do a video with it soon. I was having a problem where I thought I burnt out the motor because it, completely stopped and smelled all burnt. When I got home and cracked up the top, I realized that all the force on the battery plug kind of pulling it out actually had, ripped one of the motor wires out of the motor. So I went ahead and reinstalled that, and we're good to go there. The only little mod I did was, you can see that there's a nice sized little wrinkle right there in the foam, right on center. And that's due to this vertical stabilizer piece right there, but I went ahead and put a popsicle stick down just to keep that thing from folding, of course, because on these these wings that don't have airfoils, it's a lot easier for them to wrinkle and fold and have bad experiences with them. So yeah, we did that on there. Hopefully that should extend the lifespan. Goblins, pretty much the same as you've always seen it. Only real difference here is that, of course, the nose is pretty beat up. I was tuning the CG and had some issues. Had a pretty rough landing, but I mean, it's still intact and works as desired. Just got to build another one up for cosmetic reasons. I also switched back to a 5x4 prop, running on a smaller C rating of a battery like the Rhino 2200 25C batteries. It does tend to have, a power sag that's more noticeable, especially with the higher pitch props. So the 5x4 is good to go on there. Haven't really done anything with the Baron recently. Have flown it a few times. Obviously no crashes because it's still in one piece, but haven't really documented anything with it or had anything notable in terms of upgrades on there. And same for the Bloody Wonder down here as well. I have flown it a few times. You can see this thing is just kind of flimsy and it's really beat up right here on this wingtip. You can also see that there's a lot of dirt and crinklage on there. And the nice thing about this plane is that I really don't care about it. I think that it flies and it's fun. However, it is a basher to me, and if it crashes, I really don't care as long as I had fun. And the Walmart wing is just like the Simple Sora. Have not touched it since the last video that I did on there. And I mean, it flies good, I guess. The only thing I really did was just bind up the receiver to the DX6. Let's go ahead and talk about the Rustler now. I am going to be including this in my fleet update because it's an RC vehicle featured on the channel. But yeah, we've done 10 upgrades so far on here, and at this point, it is a very, very solid Rustler right here. There's no weak points. The only thing that I've really had an issue with, if you saw the last run video, is shock caps. That's definitely going to be one of my upgrades coming very soon. I do believe that this front left shock is also leaky, so I need to go ahead and address that as well. And I'm kind of trying to decide if I want to go ahead and get like big bore shocks or aluminum shocks, or if I just want to upgrade the shock caps on there. Because chances are, with the basher and jumping and the style of driving that I kind of have, I'm probably going to bend shock shafts and things like that. So I might just go ahead and go all the way with like the big bore shocks here in the future. Let's go ahead and talk about the Mustangs. If you did not catch the recent comparison video between these two planes, I did a really good job outlining which plane is for which kind of person. This one's more of a trainer right here, and this one is more of a high-speed maneuverable plane. Both are great, and they both have a nice spot in my fleet. However, you know, they are very, very different. So watch that video if you guys are interested in building a Mustang. You can see which one's right for you. They've been flying excellent. I've really gotten probably the most stick time across my entire fleet on these two planes most recently. A lot of fun. So check that video out. It's going to be one of the recent videos on my channel at this point. Now the Bushwhacker right here, I haven't flown that much. Flew it like 2 times since the last update video. My landing gear has really taken a hit and my wheels are taking a hit on there. I've crashed it a few times, had some bad experiences. Tip stalls, I think my CG just needs to be a little bit modified on there. But other than that, I mean, the Bushwhacker is flying great. Again, with those power sag on the 2200, I went ahead and down propped it to a 10x4.5 right here, which is going to be a little bit better. It's also going to slow this thing down because it's so overpowered before that. I just need that smooth power provided by these slow fly props. Now for these micros, these are both 2 very beat up planes. That hasn't really changed with this past month. This Sport Cub S is now flying and completely operational if you didn't see the recent videos, but that front end is just completely destroyed, and the previous owner did, you know, have it pretty beat up when I got it, but, you know, just the fact that it's been compromised is still really not helping it because it just keeps breaking further and further every time I have a rough landing. As you can see, we only have 1 prop to share between these 2 planes, so I've got some more on order, but they're not installed yet, and I have done battery upgrades on both of these. This one's running 250 milliamp hour batteries, and this one's running a 500 milliamp hour, both 1S of course. But yeah, they both still fly really good despite how beat up they look, and I have a few little odds and ends to repair on these 2 planes. Let's go ahead and move up to the Nano Goblin up here. This one, as you can see, is not currently rocking a FPV camera of any sort. I need to go ahead and upgrade that. Unfortunately, I went and accidentally fried it when I was flying it one time. So yeah, that 25 milliwatt system on there, I just really wasn't good enough. And so I'm going to go ahead and get a 200 milliwatt system because that's going to make it so I can get around the park more smoothly without all that breakup. And it's surprising, you'd think it's just an open area, but that park, you know, the 25 milliwatt system can really only get to about halfway through the field before you really lose it. Now on the Recruit here, this thing has undergone recently a receiver swap. I went for as SPM 4648, I believe, is a serial racing receiver. And it's performed great. Unfortunately, I had a little CG issue on there, and I crashed it pretty hard, broke the pins off the FC board, so I direct soldered it. We're having some ESC issues right now, but it still is pretty manageable for the time being. But other than that, I mean, it's still gonna fly here in the future, but at the moment we're having some issues with it, so you probably won't see that many videos with it here coming in the near future. But yeah, it does fly. Now, the FT Mini Aero has been flying great, old trusty, no crashes or any, you know, unplanned events to speak of. I went ahead and upgraded the prop to a 4x5 or a 5x4.5 by 3 HQ prop. This is what I was previously running on this system, and it flies really well. This plane is a dream. Now let's go ahead and get up on the quads for a second. I normally save these to the end, but we've got the Inductrix FPV Plus right here, the lightweight version. And this one has 4 motors in it, and it technically does fly, but my power sag is unreal. I mean, it's just not flyable for the most part. So I have done some kind of modifications with these motors, as you can see, kind of resoldering and reversing. But yeah, it's just not flying to my spec. And also on the FT Gremlin here, this is probably one of my most favorite machines in this fleet at the moment because it's so fun to bomb around the backyard. As you can see, we do have a little bit of a problem at the moment. I went ahead and busted a motor on one of my crashes, but yeah, so I'm down a motor at the moment. I think that one of the magnets kind of came undone from the bell and got grinded up in the stator, so you can see this thing is barely turning at all, and it's obviously the ESC is completely detached. So I have some more motors on order, as well as some more props on there as well. So yeah, really excited about that. And then of course the FT Stipple Scout back here, pretty simple, just like the name kind of entitles it to. But yeah, I do need to work on those servos. These servos have a terrible centering issue where I just can't get to fly straight. It's always moving one way or the other. If you guys watch any of the recent videos with that, I have mentioned it as well. Then the FT Mini Scout over there, I haven't done anything with. Really, I've been flying it, but there's no modifications or anything like that to speak of. I'm probably going to add ailerons here in the near future as well, so stay tuned for that, and let me know in the comment section below if you're excited to see that aileron mod video. Let's go ahead and move over here to the Viggen. And I haven't flown this thing one bit since the last month, or pretty much all of this spring and summer at all. So I have more time on my hands now that school is out, so I will be able to go ahead and get that thing fixed up, or just go ahead and replace it with a different EDF jet. As you might know, I'm not really fond of how that thing flies, but I'm probably going to go ahead and try to fix it up and see what I can do to improve the characteristics. Now, coming back here, I do have another pegboard where I can go ahead and add more planes to as needed. You can see we have two right here. One is the FT-22. Of course, I recently built this plane up, and it is flying great. I like the 2200 kV motor on this. I'm going to go ahead and improve my prop out to like a 7 or 8 inch. We're going to see how far we can go. Of course, it's sketchy with this higher kV motor. Usually you want a smaller prop. So I'm not really going to try to push it on there, but we're going to see what we can get away with without making it too warm. And then, of course, we have a Walmart glider. I recently got one of these in back kind of from some of my family members that had an extra one, saw my channel. So we're going to be doing a project with that. I'm going to convert that thing to RC. I think we're going to keep it as a glider for now. I have an extra ESC that we can use just for the BEC purposes, powering the servos and the receiver, things like that, because this thing flies just great as a truck glider as it is. And I actually did this conversion a little while ago, and it turned out really, really good. So the next thing I kind of want to focus on is this thing right here, which is my DJI Mavic Air 2. It's been a little bit since I have featured one of these aerial photography drones on my channel, but I recently just got this one in on the original release. I pre-ordered it to replace my old Mavic Pro, and I'm really happy with it so far. So I will probably be filming with it, especially on some of my flight videos here in the near future. But I just thought I'd kind of mention that and add it into the fleet, because this is what I do all my aerial photography services. I am a commercial aerial photographer, if you didn't know. And so yeah, I'm really happy with that, and I've gotten some good photos and videos out of it. So if you want to see some more with that, please go ahead and let me know down in the comment section below. I'd be happy to make some more videos about that if you're interested. Normally I don't count it as an RC craft, because it's more just like a flying camera than compared to like an actual racing drone or anything like that. That is not that much fun to fly compared to one of the FPV drones. Let's go ahead and just do a little quick overview of the electronics that I have up for grabs here in my upcoming build videos, or build series and things like that. We have plenty of servos, still probably about 25 in there. We got 3 motors, I believe, and 3 ESC combos, so 3 more planes, as well as a built-up power pod. This is the one from BS Projects Inc. With the Emax Grand Turbo 2215 motor and the BL Heli 30 amp ESC. So yeah, I'll be adding that to a plane coming here very, very soon. That's running a 10x4.5 prop on there as well. Plenty of receivers, things like that. I even have a racing receiver for a quad that we'll be putting that in here very soon. That's a little kind of spoiler right there as well. And for the time being, I will be holding on to my DX6E. I'm going to teach a few people to fly and probably use it as a simulator transmitter there up in my on my computer setup as well. So we're going to keep that around for the time being, just like that. That's pretty much it for today's fleet update. Please go ahead and let me know if you have any questions. I'd be happy to address those down in the comment section below. I'll be hanging out there. Contact me if you need me. If you have any build suggestions or any content suggestions in general, let me know. Please go ahead and like and subscribe. Share this video with your friends and family if there's something interested in it that you'd like other people to know about. That really, really would push the growth of my channel forward. Thank you again for all your support, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.